There are moments in the lives of public figures that feel too meaningful to be mere coincidences. And among those moments are the silences. This story begins with two names that once made the world stop for a breath: Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. Known for their unforgettable performances in the Untamed, they weren't just actors bound by a fantasy script. No, they were two souls, who, at some point, felt intertwined. Far beyond roles, far beyond screens. Something more than admiration lingered in their glances, something more tender, more fragile, and more unspoken. Back then, they stood side by side, laughing, exchanging glances, sharing a warmth that couldn't be staged. Their chemistry wasn't manufactured, it was instinctive. They didn't have to speak to be heard. One look, one subtle touch, a shared silence, it said enough. Fans felt it, understood it, celebrated it. But lately, something's changed. And it didn't take headlines or scandals to notice. It began quietly, like all significant shifts do. A single fan noticed something odd in a variety show. Then another spotted it during a backstage interview. And before long, an entire community began whispering the same question. Why does Wang Yibo avoid eye contact with Xiao Zhan now? In interviews, on stage, behind the scenes footage, there it was. The same pattern. When Xiao Zhan looked at him, Yibo would glance away. When their eyes were about to meet, he'd lower his head, shift his body, pretend to focus elsewhere. Some called it nothing. Just camera angles. Just coincidence. But those who had followed them from the very beginning, who had memorized the way their eyes used to lock and hold, with a kind of secret understanding, could sense that this wasn't random. This wasn't distance. It was a choice. A quiet one. Painful, perhaps, but deliberate. And so, theories began to bloom like midnight flowers. Some believe that behind every averted gaze is a feeling too deep to show. Something that once was too bright to hide, and now, too dangerous to reveal. Perhaps it's affection, longing, or even love, hidden beneath layers of caution and consequence. Because, as we all know, eye contact is a window. And sometimes, it reveals too much. What if Wang Yibo avoids looking into Xiao Zhan's eyes not because he doesn't care, but because he cares too much? What if the silence between them is not a void, but a shield? Let's not forget what happened in 2020. Xiao Zhan's world was upturned, shattered by a storm no artist should face alone. The aftermath was brutal, and maybe, just maybe, Wang Yibo started to hold back. Not out of coldness, but protection, for Xiao Zhan, for himself, for whatever existed between them. Because in their world, even a second-long glance can spark 1,000 rumors. Even a smile can become ammunition. Maybe he looks away, because looking would be too loud, too dangerous, too honest. There are fans who say they've seen it, the flicker of guilt in Wang Yibo's eyes when Xiao Zhan walks into the frame. His fingers fidgeting, lips pressed tight, a breath caught halfway. Signs, ghosts of a closeness that once felt natural, now wrapped in caution. A tension that doesn't feel like coldness, but like the residue of something once warm. Could it be that their hearts still remember what the world forced them to forget? Among the fandom, one group remains unwavering in its belief: Tian Shan. To them, this bond was never just about the Untamed. It wasn't just about Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji. It was about Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo. Two men who found something real in the chaos of fame. And maybe they never said it aloud. But they didn't have to. Tian Shan fans have traced the smallest details: fingers that almost touch, shoulders that lean closer before pulling away, the way their voices soften when saying each other's names. Moments that would mean little to the world, but mean everything to those who remember who they used to be. Perhaps Wang Yibo knows that if he meets Xiao Zhan's gaze now, the wall he's built will crumble. that the world will see what he no longer knows how to hide. Perhaps Xiao Zhan, too, holds back, unsure whether to break the silence, or protect what's left of something fragile. Sometimes love doesn't end with a fight or a goodbye. Sometimes, it ends in restraint. In long pauses between words. In carefully choreographed distance. And in the kind of silence that aches louder than sound. Of course, none of this has ever been confirmed. There has never been a statement. No denial. No confession. Just, quiet. But isn't that the most powerful kind of truth? Because when there is truly nothing, no connection, no memory, no feeling, there is no tension. No awkwardness. No heartbeat to steady. No glances to avoid. But when something remains, silence becomes deafening. And the eyes become traitors. So maybe the avoidance isn't rejection, but reverence. Maybe this is Wang Yibo's way of preserving something too delicate for the public eye. A bond that fame cannot hold. A truth that words cannot contain. Some fans believe they're still communicating, in their own way. Through music choices, social media timing, project overlaps, through shared gestures, subtle as a sigh. Like shadows dancing just out of reach. Like a flame kept alive, behind a closed door. Even now, in group settings, there are fleeting moments. Xiao Zhan's eyes scanning the room, pausing a breath too long when Yibo is present. Wang Yibo standing still, too still, when Xiao Zhan walks by. Not indifferent, not detached, just guarded. And perhaps that's the most heartbreaking part. Because we're not watching strangers drift apart. We're watching something rare and beautiful being tucked away. Buried beneath expectations. Smothered by pressure. Protected by silence. We may never know what truly happened between them. But those who watched them grow, from colleagues to something more, know that what they shared wasn't ordinary. It was quiet, but it was profound. The kind of bond that doesn't beg to be seen, but refuses to be forgotten. And in the end, the most tragic love stories are not the ones that ended with slamming doors and broken promises, but the ones that never even got to begin. So we ask ourselves, are they protecting each other? Or protecting themselves? Is this silence an act of love, or a wall built out of fear? You tell us. What do you see when you look at their eyes, and realize they're not looking at each other? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, so you don't miss our next story filled with mystery, emotion, and the delicate truths behind celebrity hearts. And remember, sometimes, the most honest words are the ones never spoken.